So
look.
Visitor Trainer Chris has wrapped up. ProKol Flint.
Here we go,
for
Flint.
the next round. So ProKol is playing the same deck he played last week, which was the Mirror Lava Hound deck, where he actually mirrors Fireball, Tombstone, and Mega Minion most predominantly. And then, of course, you sometimes even have the Mirror Baby Dragon for the situations where that's really good.
So let's take a moment to talk about Lava Hound for a second. Since in Super Magical Cup, the first big Lava Hound player was Pompeo. Pompeo came to the Super Magical Cup and demonstrated this is how you play Lava Hound. But since then, Pompeo has actually taken a step back in the Super Magical Cup. We haven't seen him play in a long time.
Yeah.
And that was way back in Season 1. Clyde actually in Season 1 came behind Pompeo's shoes and started bringing up Lava Hound on his own.
That's right.
Played Lava Hound
He played
really
Lava
well.
Poison. If you remember, Pompeo's Lava Hound deck didn't run Poison, and Clyde won his very first Super Magical Cup, or top 8 or something like that. The first time he came to prominence in our tournament was with a giant poison deck and a Lava Hound poison deck, and we named him the Prince of Poison at that point because that was one of the cards he duplicated. Actually, Clyde won Season 2. I'm sorry, Super Magical Cup number 2 of Season 2 this season, with the first time that we actually saw Lava Hound Miner in combination. And now that has become the sort of default way to play Lava Hound, is with Miner in order to really be there for the Lava Pup. So now here we have sort of the progeny of Clyde's deck building. 2 Lava Hound Miner decks going up against each other, but with very different supporting cards. Flint has the double minions and the Inferno Tower to defend, whereas ProKol is going with tougher individual units and, of course, Tombstone and Mirror to really help outplay the opponent.
So
Who do you think has the advantage
is,
here?
Who will be the next Lava Hound master? There can only be one.
What do you think, Andrew? What do you got here with what's key in these two decks? The differences.
I think Flint has the opportunity to switch over to a miner and minion push if it turns out he's not able to get any of these Lava Hounds through. Whereas if I look over at ProKol, he's really all about getting that Lava Hound in.
Yeah, definitely. I think the Inferno Tower is probably
and that Inferno Tower is there, right?
Because ProKol doesn't have lightning or minions to distract it. He's going to have to kind of use like fireballs, miners, that sort of stuff. I'm excited to see this Lava Hound duel. Most ridiculous Lava Hound duel.
Yes. Mirror, though. Mirror Fireball?
Level 3 epics for Flint. Flint is rocking a level 3 poison, by the way.
Mirror Lava Hound.
Mirror
Make
Lava
some
Hound.
strong pups.
That's
see
a
it.
level 2 Lava Hound.
Yeah.
So ProKol both open up with Lava Hound. So right away we've got the Lava Duel.
Yes.
Flint actually is in a pretty good position here too, because no arrows in ProKol's deck. So those minion hordes are probably going to be really good.
Yeah.
But then again, double Baby Dragon is going to wreck a minion heavy assault.
All right. Play your first Baby Dragon.
It looks like he's waiting to get
For
a
the
good
Lava
shot
Hound to
on
clear.
him. Yeah.
Play
And
the
then now
miner.
the Baby Dragon's going to support. Oh, he's going to go back. Actually, that's unfortunate because you really wanted there.
Oh, there's a
now.
minus. Oh, the timing was a little bit awkward.
But it is going to let 3 Lava Pups, or 4 Lava Pups even, out of the 6, get some damage in there.
Oh, was it
level 3
trade for
guards too for Flint. I didn't know he had level 3 guards as well. But actually, Flint got the better of that exchange, getting that tower down to triple digits while ProKol was focused on trying to get his Baby Dragon caught up. He sort of got caught behind. The Minion Horde cleaned out the Baby Dragon, and it was able to help follow up on the Lava Hound.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's the first bash, and Flint is going to be pretty confident with that line of play. Question is, what does ProKol do differently?
I think ProKol
Mirror's
needs to...
Elixir Collector.
I actually think you probably want to get a Tombstone out early. The Tombstone is both going to distract all the follow-up units and then also hold the Lava Hound in place for a while. Lava Hound doesn't do that much damage, so the Tombstone's meager hit point pool is still pretty good at holding up a Lava Hound for about 10 seconds or so.
Okay, and this time the Minion Horde is going to be the first card played, and so, ooh, nice. Yep.
Ooh, good fireball there. He was ready for the Minion Horde this time, so was able to fireball it right away before his Lava Hound took too much damage. Those skeletons, if they don't die to the poison... they do die to the poison. If they didn't, they would have actually been a pretty interesting threat behind the Lava Hound.
Yes. Pups do just chipping damage this time, and it looks like Flint is
Miner's
actually
gonna
going to earn the first tower.
The Miner did the great work of turning around the Baby Dragon and actually keeping the Baby Dragon splash from targeting all of those all those pups.
no.
Oh, not where you want to put that collector.
All right, it looks like ProKol is getting beat up right now.
Yeah, ProKol definitely, he's going up against a Lava Hound deck that seems much more suited at fighting other Lava Hound decks.
Yes.
ProKol might have had the advantage last week of sort of being the surprise deck, but this week Lava Hound is not sneaking up on anyone.
What's that poison doing?
Killing both the collector and getting rid of the tombstone to make the lava hound.
And get the skeletons coming out afterwards.
Yep, so that the Inferno Town does not get distracted.
Mirrored baby dragon there does the good work. But and actually some.
This is kind of a big push.
That tower is going to go down, but unfortunately the fireball was just a little too early, and the pups didn't get caught as well. But he does tie it up, so let's not count ProKol out yet.
He could play Lava Hound in the middle right now. Oh, he does! Oh, no.
Oh, that's the first time that we saw the mirrored baby dragon, and look how good it was against all this minion-heavy defense. I wonder if he'd be looking to do it again here, trying to save up and get another baby dragon out.
The level 5 baby dragon is still sitting there tanking the tower.
Wow.
It actually got so much value.
Yes. And the miner, mirrored miner, the second miner goes in to provide a second body for the lava pups and distract that Inferno Tower. ProKol's mirror! Oh my god!
I'm pretty sure ProKol just rope-a-dope Flint.
Wow, Flint thought he had that game in the bag. I thought Flint had that game in the bag. And then suddenly ProKol starts using, like, once he had seen the entire cycle of Flint, once he had realized, like, okay, I know what your deck does, what you can and can't handle, could start using very strategic mirrors there. The mirrored baby dragon and the mirrored miner somehow turned that game around. I mean, ProKol lost a tower like a minute and a half into the game and then somehow took 2 towers in the next 90 seconds.
Yep.
Very impressive turnaround by ProKol there. What did you see, Andrew? What jumped out to you in that game? While we
Once the first tower was down on ProKol's side, Flint started playing on the other side to work on the other tower, and that actually prevented him from adding in units to defending his tower that would then go and help on the push. So he was weak defending that right side afterwards.
Yeah.
And that's why that first tower went. And then, like you said, now that you know that there's only two groups of minions I have to deal with, it was very easy with the mirror to kind of be tricksy and work around it.
Yeah, the fireballs and baby dragons start coming out a lot more. The thing that jumped out to me is that Lava Hound is one of the best decks, right up there with Royal Giant and Three Musketeers, at taking a second tower when the first tower is down. In terms of like, what can I play in the middle to be really effective? One of the things that Lava Hound decks are really good at is they can actually play their baby dragon, their mega minion, their minions on defense on top of the tower. Just totally focus on defense. Don't worry about playing the Lava Hound at all. And then once you've settled and won on defense, you just drop the Lava Hound in the middle. All of your stuff is... I'm trying to get in the hammer. All your stuff is coming up the lane completely like unblocked because everything they play is fighting the center place Lava Hound. And I think that's what we saw ProKol do right there. He defended the incoming Lava Hound and then played his Lava Hound in the middle, and it was just too much. Double Miner was really smart too.
Yes. Man, the use of the mirror. ProKol definitely demonstrating why he is a tournament winner.
Yes.
And why he is playing that Lava Hound deck specifically.
Flint sticks with his Lava Hound, the same deck that we just saw. ProKol still playing 2 Lava Hound decks as well. He is copying, let's see, Miner, Lava Hound, Mega Minion, and Tombstone between the 2 decks, but has replaced and now has Minions, Lightning, arrows, and guards. And from looking at this, I'm going to really favor ProKol because this list actually has more cards to deal with all the stuff he's worried about. He's got arrows now for the minions. He's got minions and lightning for the Inferno Tower. So this might actually, that turnaround in game 1 might have been really critical because it might have set him up for an even easier matchup in game 2. What do you think?
I think so too. I think ProKol demonstrated even beyond just the cards that he had on hand. Mirror is one of those cards that really sets players apart between ones that can identify and strategize and build a strategy that can defeat your opponent just based on playing your cards right and playing line of play correctly, and then just having a deck that happens to be advantageous against your opponent and then winning by that method, right? A lot of players who play Giant Poison play it because they don't want to get counter matched up, right? They play Giant Poison, they play meta decks because they know for the majority of decks they play against, you're going to have the most effective solution. The difference for ProKol for me is he's playing decks that are very adaptable, very flexible, but not necessarily going to give you the benefit of having a counter matchup every once in a while. Of course, air decks in general for a long time have been counter decks, but ProKol is playing it in such a way, even when his deck was not in this favorable situation, he was able to play the scenario out correctly, and I think that's what's going to happen to Flint again.
Yeah. Any last thoughts, Andrew, before we jump in?
No.
Let's get in. Let's see this thing. Whoop.
All right. I believe it's this match, yeah.
People in chat are begging you guys to comb your hair. I don't think they're asking me to comb my hair.
Comb your beard.
How can I comb it anymore?
I don't know. Yeah, just...
The 5 strands I have up there.
We're actually in progressive order of hair. Rainey has more hair than most. Maybe you could lend us some, like locks for love.
Yeah.
If you really love me, Rainey, you'd donate some of those luscious locks.
Oh boy.
All right, so this time, instead of the Lava Hounds going in the same lane, they've opted to start them in opposite lanes. This will be interesting because it's really going to test which one can sort of play both sides of the field. It does seem to favor Flint, though, because you'd really rather just have that the Inferno Tower against a relatively unsupported push there. So we'll see if ProKol can defend on the other side. That one minion's actually causing some little harassment.
Yeah, it's actually incredibly effective. Seems like the first Lava Hound push will get a good amount of damage, almost 1,000.
Yeah, much better for Flint there in that opening exchange. I think ProKol's deck is going to work much better mashing the Lava Hounds into each other because he has the better backline troops like the Tombstone, the Mega Minion, all that stuff is much better on the backline, I think, than the minions are because the backline minions can be arrowed, poisoned, fireball, but the backline Mega Minions and things like that just can't as much.
Yeah, actually the counter push from ProKol was incredibly successful, and he sets himself up in that situation where the Lava Hounds will be bashing against each other.
Now he's got Lightning. The options if he's going to want to use Lightning or, just a little behind on those guards. They were about a second too slow. And unfortunately he doesn't have Zap in this deck. So he's not going to be able to reset it as easily. He's going to have to go for those big the lightning sort of pushes.
He could have lightning instead of playing that Mega Minion, and it would have reset the tower, put it on the guards.
Yeah.
Wow, ProKol identified that he was in Elixir advantage, which he
just used Zap. He also, the opponent just used Zap. So with the Zap just recently coming out of the hand, what a better time to throw down your 3 Elixir minions.
Opportunistic, man. Yes. That's what I was talking about with mirror players who play mirror decks. They're opportunistic. They know how to identify weaknesses, and ProKol expertly did that.
Yeah, Mirror is one of those cards. In order to take the most advantage of Mirror, you need to find a situation where you're not so worried about the Elixir advantage, but you're worried about them being out of cycle. So, like, I don't really care if double Mega Minions costs a little more. If your Musketeer's in the opposite lane, I'm willing to overspend because I'm going to get that big advantage right there. And here we go. I think this is the situation the ProKol wants to be in. He wants his backline Mega Minions outside of a poison.
There it is.
Cleaning up. And there's the, that's right.
Wow, the Emperor Tower just disappeared.
Yes. I think the thing is that if it's just the Lava Hound alone, it's not enough damage. You sort of need some other support there, and the guards are able to do that. Wow, arrows take out minions and Mega Minion. The miner
and the miner.
The one Lava Pup finishes off the tower with 20 seconds left. There is room for Flint to take this last tower, but not if he's just going to poison and zap it. He really needs to get in there with some sort of damage.
So there's the miner.
That's good.
And I don't
does connect.
Good miner placement.
Yeah. He needs one more poison, but there's not enough time.
I think he would have been better off doing the miner poison. I mean, he just did poison, then zap, then miner.
Yeah.
If he could somehow get the miner poison in there, kill the guards as well, zap a little bit, slow down the tower while, maybe, but I think unfortunately that was a very bad deck matchup for Flint. He had a much better chance at winning game 1 and getting that deck out. Like, because if you win, there's sort of the advantage of like, well, I can't play the deck anymore, but there's also the advantage that anything that this deck is weak to, I don't have to deal with it anymore. I get to play my other deck. And Flint kind of got bummed out there because ProKol's second deck was significantly better against Flint's deck that he had to win with.
That's what happens when you lose a favorable match.